Hello, this is Dan, your mortgage advisor and host of your Closing Time Real Estate podcast. And today I've got with me Sheri Putzke with Windermere Real Estate in Kirkland, Washington. Welcome to the show, Sheri.
Thanks for having me, Dan. Good to be here.
Yeah, it's good to have you. All right, well, let's just get right into it and talk about you, Sheri. Tell me how you got into real estate, how long you've been in, a little bit about that.
Sounds good. Yeah. I'm in my 18th year of real estate now and got into it because my husband is a builder. At the time, he had a business partner and his wife had her license. And when my husband bought out his partner, I got my license. My kids were very young at the time. I didn't anticipate it becoming what it has. It's been great. I enjoyed it a great deal. I continue to enjoy it, and I was selling Mary Kay cosmetics at the time and working in the nursing field, and never really considered myself a salesperson. And that mentality, I think, has served me well because I'm not salesy with my clients. I'm sincere and love what I do.
I would agree with that. You are not salesy and you're very sincere. I've known you for a while now, and we've done quite a bit of business together. I did not know you sold Mary Kay, though. That's pretty cool. So if anybody needs cosmetic tips, I'm good, but my wife maybe.
Well, look at me. I don't wear any makeup, so it's
You
irony.
don't. You look great then for no makeup. That's awesome. So 18 years, that's a long time. So a lot of expertise, a lot of great advice Sheri can give her clients. The biggest thing right now that I see is there's a lot of first-time home buyers out there, and a lot of them are nervous about getting into the market. So when I work with a first-time home buyer, there's a lot of questions I have to answer, and I'm sure you do too, when you're showing houses in this market that we're in right now, with interest rates being a little bit higher and things, in the fourth quarter slowing down a little bit. But we have a lot of things out there that are beneficial to educating our home buyers. But what challenges do you see first-time home buyers having right now when they're shopping for a home?
First of all, I just want to say first-time home buyers are one of my favorite clientele. I love working with first-time home buyers. I love educating them about the process, answering questions. They're excited, they're eager, they're nervous, and I just like help coaching them through the process. But in terms of what to look for, honestly, I think your team is critical. A lot of times people hop on the web and look for discount brokerages, but the bottom line is you do get what you pay for, and you really need a trusted professional, experienced trusted professional to help navigate you through the process, because it's all about the end result and getting something that you love, and that's the right fit for you, and avoiding issues with the home, knowing what to look for, things of that nature.
I totally agree. And I think that's where your experience as an 18-year real estate veteran comes in, because I've dealt with this with many first-time home buyers where they're looking for maybe a discount broker, or they're looking for something and that they got referred to somebody, or they're at an open house and they walk in and there's a, agent from, I won't name any companies, but, some certain discount brokerage companies, and they get them, and then they show them homes and they make offers and they don't get accepted. And that happened a lot the last 24 months, the last 2 years in the King County, Snohomish County areas. So I think that's very important. This is a big purchase. You do not want to cut corners on that stuff. And working with somebody that really knows the market, knows how to structure the offer, knows how to get it accepted, coupled with, a possible quick close if that's what it takes. Last year was nuts, right? We saw multiple offers way over asking. I'm hopeful so far we haven't had that. I've had a few where clients have had to go a little over asking, but not a lot. Mostly around asking. Sometimes you can, depending on the house, get a seller concession. And so knowing where you can do that at, and what neighborhoods is something that you would be very good at. And so that's what I totally agree with you on that.
My
Let me
last
ask
couple
you
of,
this.
sorry, what was that, Dan?
No, that's okay. Elaborate on what you're saying.
I was just going to say my last couple of listings have all been multiple offers, but when I say multiple offers, I mean 2 versus 10. And so that's really when the difference in the offer structure and presentation makes a difference. And also the reputation of the agents. Other agents want to work with somebody that they know is going to get you to the finish line, because it's one thing to present a pretty offer, but you got to get to the finish line, and also great lending partners too. But the other component about the house, it's not just about getting the offer accepted. It's about getting the right house for the client, understanding that what's a good fit, what they're looking for, how long they plan to be in the home, what are their family plans, what are their employment, where are they working, and just making sure that the house isn't, a lot of times there's a lot of flips out there in the marketplace, and sometimes that can be an issue because everything looks pretty, but behind the walls, corners may have been cut. So just making sure that you're protecting your client's investment as well, and helping them get a safe, happy, healthy home.
Yeah, fix and flips. Yeah, you're right. And that's where a home inspection can be real important. And do you recommend a home inspection, most of the time, or what are your thoughts on that?
No, I recommend it all the time. And in this market too, I mean, it was very common last year for the seller to provide an inspection and then the buyer just to take that inspection at face value and move forward. And we didn't have a lot of choice, quite honestly, with multiple offers. That was just the way that it had to be. But even now, I encourage my buyers to get their own inspection, even if the seller has one. If it's not a competitive situation, there's no reason not to do that. And it's just an added layer of protection. And you're doing your due diligence.
Yeah. And you think going into this year, we're in early 2023. Do you think that that'll hold where the sellers will, it's not crazy sellers market like it was last year. It's a little more in the middle, maybe, so they can still be able to do that?
Yeah, I mean, when I represent sellers, I still encourage them to have a home inspection. The benefit is avoiding surprises for both parties. It's not fun for anybody to find out that there's a pest infestation in the attic or the crawl space, where there's standing water down there. The seller doesn't go into the attic and the crawl space, so those are the common gotcha areas, and it's just not a fun surprise for anybody. It's much more beneficial to both parties for the seller to be proactive in addressing issues and finding out in advance before they bring the home to market.
Yeah, I
Hopefully
have several people that I know in the real estate business, like yourself, and appraisers that I know, and they are all, even home inspectors, and they're always like, of course, home inspectors want you to get an inspection. That's how they make their business. But everybody's like, yes, do not waive that. If you can, if you can get a pre-inspection, you can also do the pre-inspection, right?
Absolutely.
So pre-inspection is you getting the inspection done before you have gone under contract or made before you've gone into contract.
Usually if there's an offer review date, that's when a buyer would do a pre-inspection.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense. Yeah. Okay. So when you're walking somebody through a house, let's just say it's a house. It's not, I mean, it could be new or it can be old, right? But the older, the more, I think, cautious you have to be. What are you looking for, and what are you pointing out to buyers?
Well, I just have to, that reminds me, I work in the new construction field, and have represented sellers and buyers on many new construction homes. And I think that it's equally important to do an inspection on a new home, as it is on a resale, just because I can't tell you how many times I've seen dishwashers not connected properly, plumbing upstairs coming through can lights in the lower level. And it's just, when you're moving into your home, that's a terrible thing to have happen, versus addressing issues like that in advance. So new, old, get a home inspection is the bottom.
And I've heard that new construction too from multiple realtors. So that's good advice. And it's what are they, $400 or $500 for an inspection or something like that?
Yeah,
so
not $500, and money well spent. And especially with new homes, the builder takes care of the issues. In many cases, you're protected by a warranty, so they fix it, and it's taken care of before you move into your home.
Yeah, awesome, good information there. What let's go next question. What do you see for the east side, Kirkland, Bellevue, Redmond, Woodinville, the greater Seattle market? What do you see as far as like the buyer activity and maybe getting your offer accepted, price escalations? What do you see for that, as a whole picture of the housing market per se within the next 12 months in King County? Because we're coming out of a market where prices went way up the last 2 years, right? And then it's totally slowed down once we got to the end of 2022 because of interest rates.
Exactly. Yeah, we stalled at the end of last year, though. With rates improving at the beginning of this year, we have seen buyers jump off the fence. And the bottom line is for buyers, I think that it is an incredible opportunity to get in a home. If you can afford the payment right now, the important thing is securing the home. We all anticipate that rates will go down at the second half of the year, if not sooner. And the old adage, marry the house, date the rate.
Yes, yes.
Get
I got
into
that
the
from you.
yeah, get into the home and then refi as the rates go down. And the benefit of getting in now when there's less competition and less buyer activity is your terms of your offer are going to be better. The price is going to be better, and you're going to be able to have your financing contingency and your inspection contingency and uh, a more normal, protected process.
Yeah. Which is better. It's much better for home buyers than it was, say 6 months to 9 months ago.
Considerably so. Reasonable earnest money amounts, not releasing them prior to closing, and just been, having your financing contingency in place and your inspection contingency in place. So, I anticipate that as soon as rates dip again, and we already saw this year, there was an immediate response from the buyers. People are off the fence right out of the gate. And the problem is we're in a very low inventory market. And as soon as the buyers flood the marketplace, we're not going to see the same correlation on inventory, right?
Oh yeah.
Inventory doesn't react that quickly, not as quickly as the buyers do. Once the seller decides to put a home on the market, oftentimes there's a couple of months of preparation to get the home ready. So we are going to have an influx of buyers and not an influx of inventory, which is just going to create that situation where there is more competition. You will pay more, and the terms aren't going to be as good.
That's why right now is a great time. Like you said, you're going to be refinancing. I'm telling everybody, you're going to hear from me in 6 months to 12 months about a refinance if you've closed a purchase loan in the last 6 to 8 months. And the inventory problem is there for multiple reasons. I think number one, if you're sitting at 3% or whatever it is on some ridiculous low rate, these COVID rates, you may not want to sell. And so there's all these people, I don't know how percentage, I read 85% of homeowners are sitting below 3.5% on a mortgage right now. And so a lot of those people don't want to sell. Some will be moved down, they'll step down, some will move up, so they will sell. Or they'll turn it into a rental and they won't sell because the rate's so low, right? So we have low inventory. So like you said, that's a huge problem. And then once we get down, like I really feel interest rates are going to head down significantly this year. And once we get down to that 5% range, maybe mid 5 to 5.5, it's going to be a lot of buyers coming out because there are so many millennials, and the average age of a millennial, from what I've been reading, is about age 34. And those people, a lot of them have money. They got tech jobs. They work for Amazon in the Seattle area, Microsoft, Facebook, Google, and there's thousands of them out there that have money, and they're just waiting for the right time to buy. And a lot of them don't know now is a great time because they think, oh, rates are too high. But they, like you said, they don't think about the long game. It's the long game. What's your rate going to be a year or two from now? It's going to be much lower than it is right now.
Right. And so get in when the price is reasonable versus when we see prices raised based on supply demand issues.
I'd rather save 50 to 100K on an $800,000 house and then refinance it within a year than pay higher, and then still probably refinance it in a year.
Not only that, but what they're paying for rent, right? Or people are paying considerable amounts because the rental market is still relatively strong. So you're paying your landlord's mortgage instead of your own.
Yeah. And let's talk about that, because a lot of people, you and I have been around a while, so we both owned multiple properties over the years. And you and your husband, since he's a builder, you guys have done really well on real estate. Let's talk about real estate investing a little bit. If somebody's new as a real estate investor, what would be your advice? Whether they're purchasing their first home or they've owned their home and now they want to own another home. How do they do that? How do they get going on that if they don't, if they've got a little bit of money but maybe not a lot?
Yeah, there's lots of ways. Somebody told me, or I heard a long time ago, don't wait to buy real estate and wait. So it's just a matter of getting your foot in the door, owning the property, and then letting the market do what it does. I mean, I practice what I preach, right? All of my money goes into real estate. If I have money, I'm looking to buy another property. It served us well. It's a fantastic investment. And long term, it's hard to beat.
Yeah.
You're just not going to do better with housing. or was something else besides housing. And so I think having a great lender partner to understand your down payment options, your HELOC options for down payments, so that and then a great agent too to help you understand where and what to invest in.
Yeah. For me, one thing I preach a lot, especially to the younger folks out there, I just did a loan for a guy closed 2 days ago, and he's 30, I think he's 34 actually. Guy works a couple jobs, makes pretty good money, but he's not like crushing it as far as his income, but he's doing really good with real estate income because every property he's owned after a year or two, usually 2 years because of capital gains tax, he's turned that primary residence into an investment residence. And then he's pulled some cash out of some of those properties and put them into duplexes. And he's bought a couple of duplexes. So he owns 6 properties. He owns 6 doors, let's put it that way, because a couple of them are duplexes. And he's 34 years old.
Good for him.
So he's probably got, some of these properties aren't in King County, so maybe the equity isn't as good as some spots, but he's probably got $1.5 million in net worth for real estate equity, and he's 34 years old. So,
Exactly.
that's for me is the number one way I try to teach my clients to don't sell your house, turn it into a rental, and just hold it and get some good tenants in there, screen your tenants, and hang on to that thing because, there's a few people I follow online on like YouTube and Instagram, and one of them is in Seattle. Guy came here from Vietnam when he was a little kid. Parents were broke. The guy owns 1,500 properties now.
Wow.
And he's about my age. He's about 50, and he teaches people how to invest in real estate. That's why I see him on Instagram and stuff. So, you can do it. It's just a matter of putting a plan together and not, we're not racking up debts to where you think you have to sell a house because I got to pay this debt off. So you got to be good with your money.
Yes. Yeah, no, but it's not as hard as it seems. And you work with trusted professionals, understand the cap rate, and let your tenants pay your mortgage.
Yep, absolutely. I totally agree. Anything else you want to add before we kind of wrap this up?
On that point, or just in general?
Yeah, in general.
Just look at my notes here. You had asked about challenges, and I think I would say the biggest challenge in the market right now is expectations, both with buyers and sellers. For sellers, a lot of them are stuck on where the values were.
Yeah. This educating them that this isn't a year ago,
Right. Yeah, exactly. But we have so many resources at our fingertips with good data points to help people, because pricing is absolutely critical to a great outcome.
That's a great point. Price the home, listen to your agent. You got to be realistic. There's 8-9 months ago, they might have had 10 offers at your door. I saw some with over 20. Now you're going to have, depending on, the house, right, and the price point, you're going to have maybe 2 to 3 offers. And so pricing it, because there's been homes sitting on the market because sellers are living in 2022. It's not 2022 anymore.
Yeah, pricing and presentation. That's the other piece. Just making sure that you're pre-inspected, you've taken care of issues, your house shows great, and you've got
maybe getting it staged,
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. Great advice, Sheri. Well, I appreciate you coming on the call today. It's been great talking to you. And anybody wants to reach out to Sheri about their real estate needs, the best way to contact you, Sheri?
My cell at 425-749-6703 or Sheri Putzke at windermere.com.
Sheri Putzke at windermere.com for everybody out there. Thanks again, Sheri. We really appreciate it, and we'll be in touch.
Appreciate it, Dan. Thank you.
Bye-bye.